Hey, back up! Back off! Whoa, what the fuck? What the heck are we supposed to do?
Let her go.
Out of my way, kids. Who are you?
My name is
Ryan.
Dad.
It's okay, son. I'm here. We're gonna save America. Together. Holy shit.
Thought you were too sick to practice.
Casting Will Ferrell so that this cameo can be both a literal and figurative blindside.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture ref.
Most talented superhero I've ever seen.
That's an oddly specific way of admitting you've only ever seen one superhero, Will.
That's the joke.
Now, please, it's me, Coach Brink.
The Boys once again giving a big old V sign to anyone who doesn't keep up with a decidedly mess spinoff.
Once again, Discount Jeremy is complaining about a connected universe being a connected universe. I've explained why this is dumb so many times that from now on, anytime he gives one of these dumb sins, I'm just gonna play a random meme and give him 10 sins. Starting now.
Feral f***ing Streep.
Where? Let me see. Damn it, The Boys. Don't you dare tease me with Herogasm 2 if you don't plan to deliver.
Pointless throwaway sin is pointless and thrown away like science at a Goop convention.
2018, Gwyneth's lifestyle brand Goop started promoting coffee enemas, meant to supercharge the body and was only advised for those who knew what they were doing. And in the same year, Goop started selling their infamous $66 jade eggs, which her company was later fined $145,000 for false advertising.
Not giving off too much of a blindside vibe, am I?
Will Ferrell would be excellent at stealing jokes I came up with first, but
Skip.
Long and Ian Rashford savagely beat 3 good men to death.
Your Foxmentary social news satire almost made me miss the blatant news position.
Wait, so he realizes that news position is satirical, but then he still sins it? Yup, that level of dishonesty is definitely worth 10 sins.
How long you got? It's none of your f***ing business. You're done. Fired.
Whoa, you never heard of a retaliation lawsuit? Maybe consult with HR before you terminate an employee due to illness?
Except he's not terminating Butcher due to illness, he's terminating Butcher due to incompetence. Try to keep up.
Chosen one narrative only works if he stands alone. Harry Potter, Neo, Luke Skywalker.
Let's see. Harry had Ron, Hermione, and most of the Wizarding School faculty. Neo had Morpheus, Trinity, and the entirety of physics. And Luke had Leia, R2, C-3PO, Han, and arguably Darth Vader. The real narrative is that all of these chosen ones would have died if they stood alone.
And here we have Discount Jeremy taking her dialogue at face value. Yes, they all had help from friends, but they were still isolated in one way or another. I've only seen Harry Potter and Star Wars, so I'll focus on those two examples. Despite having his friends to help him, Harry still felt very isolated during much of his education, especially when it came to facing Voldemort, which he almost always did alone. Luke is fairly similar in the sense that, while he had friends to help him, he had to face Darth Vader alone.
His driver's license is supposedly good for 8 years, which is impossible because Michigan requires you to renew every 4 years. Boom! Let's go!
Continuity man reigns supreme!
That was actually a good sin, but I'm tempted to add sins because of that cringeworthy continuity man bullshit. How about we call it even and you stop using that nonsense?
Rodent from South America.
Oh, so you're f***ing land mammals now.
I don't actually get shit on a ton, but this roast is so good I want to stick it in my crock pot.
That fake-ass laugh. Also, Discount Jeremy sins something he likes, cliche.
But you put that down and get the out of my operation.
Well, it's lucky for me that you ain't my boss no more.
MM accepts this reasoning and lets Butcher come along on the mission anyway. Look, we want the boys to be able to the boys. The writers clearly want the boys to be able to the boys. So why can't we just let the boys instead of starting every season with them being unable to the boys?
It's like watching a TV show with a 5-year-old. Butcher is no longer part of the boys, so he can attend this event as a civilian. MM can't do anything to stop Butcher because he's now a civilian, which means that MM has no power over him anymore.
There are more outrageous conspiracy theories on show here, but if these guys really believe in the smartphones equal alien mind control and the internet is dead thing, it does make me wonder how they managed to organize their attendance at this convention.
Dude, how are you this dense? That's exactly the point. Conspiracy theorist nuts like these people always have inconsistencies like this in their beliefs. This kind of thing is actually making this whole situation more believable, not less.
All the beers available, Kimiko, the soup hater, picks a soup-branded beer?
Yes. Maybe she doesn't care about the brand, or maybe soup beer is better tasting than other brands. Either way, you have no point.
Let's get a move on. The Flat Earthers get the space at 4:30.
But isn't the Flat Earthers' inability to get space kind of their fundamental flaw? Although it makes sense to not anger them, they're not huge fans of hanging around.
Cringeworthy joke is worthy of cringe.
If you add up all
You ain't leaving my sight.
Butcher's intent here was to follow Frenchie and see what Splinter was up to. But despite his colorful protest earlier, proclaiming his rights as a free citizen, he does exactly what MM asks and stays behind like a good Butcher.
Butcher is aware that MM will follow him anywhere he goes in this event, and it's not legal for Butcher to be following Soups around anymore given that he's not part of the team, so his actions here make sense. Just watch the show and turn on your brain.
you add up all
You
of
ain't
the
leaving
letters
my sight.
of all of the Tom Hanks movies, you get 311, which is the police code for child porn. It's just math.
So also, in terms of letters, 311 wouldn't even get you into the 2000s in terms of Hank's filmography. Yes, I counted. No, I don't feel good about it. Yes, I want to watch Castaway again. No, The Terminal isn't a piece of shit you think it is. And yes, Big is problematic and overrated.
Discount Jeremy makes 3 pop culture references that aren't sins of the episode cliche.
I'll show you what's happening on screen, so I'm just going to trust that you know what's happening and send it as follows. Each Splinter appears to be a unique, self-thinking entity that works in service of the Prime Splinter. So why does he care if they're also, satisfied? Why wouldn't he just have them all pay attention to him?
Kinks are wild, my guy. This scene suggests that Splinter developed a kink for Splinter orgies because of his superpower. I don't know why you're looking for logic in a kink.
Also, I'm kind of shocked that Frenchie and Kimiko are shocked. They've seen a tiny man climb into another man's penis, and yet this enhanced self-love technique leaves their jaws on the floor?
Well, they've never seen anything like it before. You're pretending that seeing something wild immunizes you from ever being surprised again. But that's bullshit.
I get a call from Boise, Idaho. There's a terrorist who's got like the whole movie theater held hostage.
We're about to find out this entire story is an easily exposed lie when A-Train's brother shows up. So why even bother, A-Train? There's no way his brother isn't going to expose this shit as soon as his boys start yapping about it on Votstagram or whatever.
He doesn't know that Nathan is going to expose him. You're pretending that A-Train has the ability to see the future.
And what? What you mean, man? Then I got some popcorn. I watched the rest of Pacific Rim Uprising.
Lies? No, not the saving lives part. It's just statistically unlikely that you were one of the 23 people who actually saw Pacific Rim Uprising. Also, forgive me if I find it hard to believe that the staff of a theater who just survived a terrorist attack are going to be hanging around to let you watch half of a terrible movie.
Wait a second. A moment ago you sinned A-Train for using a fake story, but now you're sending the fake story as if it's real? You can't make this shit up.
These people got nothing. Maybe they lost a job or a house or a kid to Oxy. And politicians don't give a shit. Mainstream media tells them to be ashamed of their skin color. So I want to bring them together, tell them a story, give them a purpose.
Wow, it sure is weird that the boys decided to wait until season 4 to get all political and shit. So weird. Well, I guess I can always just watch season 1 again. No satire there at all. Now where's my gallon of milk and pacifier?
Maybe he's making a joke about the show being satire, but if he was, then I'm sinning this for not being funny. Maybe he's trying to criticize the show for either being satire or political, which is dumb either way because he didn't provide any justification for that. Or maybe he's just spewing out a bunch of words and ringing the sin bell without any reason whatsoever. Take your pick.
She said 9 p.m. in a deep blue sea room, no?
I sure did.
In order for Sage to have executed this dramatic sentence finishing entrance, she would have had to open the door without anyone realizing and heard Frenchie, who essentially said this under his breath. Yes, all soups probably have super hearing, so I can believe that last part, but then why didn't Kimiko hear her coming in?
That's a decent sin. I'm shocked.
Guns.
Oh no, the heroes are outnumbered and outgunned. Surely this is the end. Surely episode 2 of the new season is when they finally meet their match.
Yeah, now he's pretending that the show is trying to trick us into thinking that the boys are at the end of the road, which simply isn't true. It's possible for there to be consequences to the events of the episode without the protagonist being completely beaten, and once again, I'm reminded that Discount Jeremy has the same level of comprehension as the average 5-year-old.
I expect the heroes who can mitosis themselves Venn diagram to ever include The Boys, Invincible, and Doctor Who.
Discount Jeremy makes 2 pop culture references that aren't sins of the episode cliche.
Listen, unless you're specifically writing something deliberately outrageous for a TV show, there is no way you're booking a bat mitzvah one room over from a convention that is actively pushing an anti-Semitic agenda.
Did the people booking the bar mitzvah know that there was a conservative conspiracy theory meetup next door? The show never gives us any reason to suspect that they were aware of this fact, so you're just making a completely random assumption.
Also, congrats MM and Frenchie for ducking behind the one apparently reinforced wooden table that can take hits from multiple handguns and assault rifles.
This is another good sin. That table isn't stopping any bullets. Come on now, boys.
Stealing your clone pile-on from The Matrix Reloaded.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture...
No, not Prime!
Then why the was Prime even in the fight? He could literally be in the sauna still analyzing himself, but he chooses to be in the middle of the danger instead.
The implication throughout this episode is that Splinter Prime has a massive crush on Firecracker, so he does anything she wants him to do. In other words, when Firecracker told Splinter to come capture the boys with her, he obeyed.
You look like shit.
Character says another character looks like when they don't actually look like to demonstrate they know the character has been through some Cliché.
That's not a cliche.
Just seeing him day after day, one thing led to another, and...
So what happens when he finds out you murdered his family?
Is there any character in this show that isn't angry at Frenchie for getting their family killed? I feel like we meet someone new every season who's furious with him for that exact reason. Can't someone be mad at Frenchie for stealing their taxi or promising to water their houseplants and then forgetting?
That wouldn't add anything meaningful to his character, though. He was a heavy for the Russian mafia. That's not just a throwaway thing. That's pretty significant. It makes sense to focus on something like that.
What the hell, guys? This is taking the piss. I can't believe you dropped...
Skip?
To be a good skipper, you gotta be a right arsehole. Ain't no room for compassion.
And 4 seasons in, you'd think Butcher would be allowed to develop past believing the key to success depends on the rightness or wrongness of your arsehole.
In their line of work, he's not wrong. Their leader has to make very difficult and, honestly, twisted decisions for the sake of the mission. Just because you haven't been paying attention doesn't mean the show made a mistake.
Maybe I can do one thing right with the time I got left. Get Ryan safe. I can't do that alone. I can't do it without you.
So to be clear, Butcher just explained that a good leader needs to be brutal and show no compassion, and then compassionately pleads with MM to demonstrate some compassion and let him back on the team so he can fulfill his mission of compassion to save Ryan.
Yes, because Butcher is able to separate his compassionate side from his leadership side. Nobody said that a leader has to be totally devoid of compassion, just that a leader needs to lead without compassion. I know that I shouldn't be expecting a man who struggles to understand kid shows to understand nuance, but it's really stupid.
Rate me on a scale from 1 to 10, but first, take a good look.
I'm gonna say hard 4.
What? That's kind of low. What could be better?
Well, your foundation doesn't match your neck, you got fake tits, and your eyes are kind of spread far apart.